having some hail here.
Yes, it's pretty bad, very windy.
Yes. Okay, so we should be going live. So we're gonna go to YouTube this time. Okay. Okay. So we are live today with Patricia Pulido.
Hi.
Of Patricia Pulido Films and Photography. And she's going to be sharing some tips with us today on photography, right?
Yes, for the next 4 weeks.
Yes. Okay. So I pass it over to you.
Thank you, Lisa. So hi, everyone. I'm excited to share some tips. I want to start with some smartphone. I have an iPhone, so I want to start at the beginning, giving you some tips with the iPhone. And later, if there's interest, I would also like to cover DSLR cameras if people are willing to are interested in DSLRs. But the benefit is that everybody has a phone, right, in our hands. So we have to take advantage of that. I'm going to introduce myself first. I am Patricia. I am Colombian. I arrived to Mexico a year ago, and I am a family photographer. I specialize in storytelling sessions, and I also do storytelling sessions and branding for small businesses. Okay, so I'm going to start sharing. I think we're going to do 4 or 5 tips today. I own an iPhone, and my first tip that I want to tell you is, you know that there are 2 lenses, front and back, and we have our phones on our bags, on our pockets. So the first is very basic, and probably it doesn't sound like a good tip, but it's clean your lens. It is very important, and I would like everybody to do like a demonstration when you don't clean your lens and the difference when you clean your lens. So any soft fabric will do, and the difference, it's night and day. So people, they have to start getting to a habit of cleaning the lens. Makes a huge difference. And also the front one, when you're doing a selfie, the front one, you can also do a little bit of cleaning, but this one that's bigger, it's the one that gets very dirty. So I totally recommend cleaning. So that's my first tip. And you'll see, if you want to see the difference, testing your photos, it does make a big difference. Okay, so the second one that I want to cover, it's settings, your camera settings. So a lot of people really don't mess around with settings, but if you have an iPhone, and also applies for Android, so I'm pretty sure it's the same, but you just have to look around. It's you go to settings, and then go to camera. It's almost on the bottom. And I'm going to go over, let's see if I can. I'm going to go over the settings that I have. I have an iPhone 8, but it's very similar to the 7 or to the other ones. And I have to say the same for the iPhone 10. So the first one that I want to is go to the preserve settings. And in there's a live photo, which it says preserve the live photo settings rather than automatically reset the live photo turn on. So the live photo, the first one that I want to recommend, I'm going to explain first what the live photo is on the phone. When you want to take a picture, the live, it's over here. Is this little setting that I have it turned it off, because what live does is it's like a little video that it takes a still from that little video, which is great. For example, if you're taking a picture of someone and then they close their eyes, they squint, and then you can select the frame, the best frame. But the quality is going to be lower. And if one day you want to take your photos out, it's going to be a little video. It's not going to be a photo. If you want to be a photo, you have to export from the phone. It's going to be converted to a JPEG. So I don't recommend doing live. This live, when it's turned on, it's yellow. When it's turned off, it simply says live off. So I recommend to turn it off. If you want to capture several frames, you're better off with burst mode. You simply go to burst, you just press the white button several times, like 3 seconds, and they will give you several pictures, and then you will choose your best. So I don't recommend that. So in the settings, when you want to use it and then turn it off, I recommend doing live photo, turn it off, like turn on the preserve settings. So if you don't have this turned on, when you go again, it's going to be always on. So it's very weird. It's fun for some times, but not to leave it on the whole time. So that's the preserve settings. The next setting is grid. And grid is very important if you want to have a guide that will, it's little lines. If you know something about photography, you know that the rule of thirds, you need those guides. So the subjects are in the third part. It's like you have your camera divided in 9 squares, and your subjects are supposed to be, or it looks, I mean, there's no, I mean, you can break the rules, but the rule is the third, that the subjects will look better if they are aligned in those dots, those intersections. So when you have this grid, it will, I mean, it will be natural for you to position and compose better. So I always leave it on. My grid is always on. Okay, so the next setting is scan QR, which I find it helpful. I always leave it on. And for record video, I have it at 4K, 24 frames per second. So I know this in iPhone 7, it's gonna change. I don't think it has 24 frames per second 4K, but if you have the options of 1080p and 720p, definitely go with it 1080. Because when you're doing something with your videos, you're compiling those videos to edit them to become movies. You will want to have a higher resolution with 1080, and even better if it's 4K. Okay, so that's that. And then slow motion, 1080, that depends on the camera, but 1080, it's fine. And now this one, this setting is very important, formats. The camera says camera capture in high efficiency or most compatible. See, if I can show you here. High efficiency and most compatible. So high efficiency is like the raw of a professional camera, a semi-professional camera. It's supposed to save space, but I recommend to do it to have it in the most compatible, because the most compatible, it's going to be very easy to share. Most compatible, it's JPEG, and all phones, all computers can read JPEGs. But if you leave it in high efficiency, it's called HEIF, the HIF, this high efficiency format. I can't remember what the I is, but anyway, it's high efficiency. So when you go to extract the files from your phone, it's gonna have a .HEIF, and that's not good. I mean, that is good if you have programs like Lightroom that will read it, that you're gonna edit your photos. That's a good idea to have it. But if not, it's gonna be very difficult. I mean, there are converters nowadays, but you don't want to deal with converting your photos to the HEIF to JPEG. So you don't want to go through that. I mean, I think nowadays the resolution with JPEGs of the most compatible, it's the best option. Okay, and then the next one is HDR. So the same for iPhone 7, 6, it's going to be a little bit different from iPhone 8, but I do have the option to do auto HDR. So what HDR is high dynamic range. So when you see those photos, sometimes you are taking a photo, for example, of a landscape. And if you click on the sky, it gets dark. But if you click on the mountains, the sky is going to look white and blown out. Or if you click on a face, it depends on the exposure, the skies are going to be blown out. So in that case, what HDR does is it takes 3 pictures and it blends the pictures. So the sky is going to be exposed correctly. The mountain or whatever the subject is going to start, it's just blends the three photos, the three different exposures, so you have a better quality exposure. So you see the sky is blue, the skin of the person that's there, it's bright, the mountain, you can see the details. So I always leave auto HDR. What this means is that the phone is an automatically going to say, okay, I think for this picture we need HDR. So I leave it auto because I mean you can see you have the option, and it says keep normal photo if you want to see like what it looked without the HDR or with the HDR. So you have those two options. I believe in the iPhone 7 or 6, when you go to take a picture, it's going to be in here. But on the iPhone 8, it's not there. The only options are flash, live, and self-timer, and the pictures. So those are the settings that I always recommend to start getting better pictures, in a sense that it's going to help you with resolution, with the size of the file, so you're not stuck saying like, oh my god, I don't have space. If you do video, the quality for sure it's gonna be a lot better if you do 4K rather than 1080. And let's see. So yeah, that's basically it. Where it says settings, camera, we went through all of those. And in the front, like I said, if you go to your camera, you're gonna see the live HDR here or self timer on the top when you're doing the photos. So those are the basic settings. And I'm pretty sure this is for iPhone, but I'm pretty sure for Android, it will be the same. I mean, Android cameras, Samsung has excellent cameras. So I'm pretty sure they have those settings. So we're gonna start with that, settings, your iPhone. And then the next week, we're gonna get into more buttons that it's gonna help you improve your mobile photography for anything, for your family, for if you like just to take pictures, if you use it for your business. It's very important to know how this camera works. I mean, it's in our hands every day, so we have to take advantage.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Patricia. And I know you have a course coming up in September.
Yes.
Maybe you could just share a 2-second about it.
Yeah, sure. It's so after we all take these photos, we end up with a bunch of photos. So my course is directly to families, to all your personal pictures, what to do with those pictures and those videos. So the idea of this course, I'm also a photo organizer. So I want to teach step by step what to do with your phones, with your photos, from the moment you take your photo. How do you export the photo, how to deal with the computer, how to organize it, what program to use to compile the videos, how to make photo books. Very easy. People are very intimidated, like, oh, photo book, I'm not a designer. But it's once you do your first photo book, I mean, it's going to be very brief. So I really wanted to do step by step. And in there, I also have bonus of how to take also tips on how to take better photos with your phone. But it's basically, if you're using only this is the course, because I explain everything step by step, from when you take a picture up to your photo books yearly, and also doing monthly movies. So I'm excited, and I'm going to have more information September when it's come back.
Awesome. I can hardly wait for it.
Yes.
My phone is a mess. It's a mess. I need help, desperate help.
Yes. And then there's so much information out there, but I really feel personally that I need someone to tell me what to do step by step.
Exactly. I'm overwhelmed. Like,
yes, it's gonna be good because I'm gonna have a Facebook group and people can ask questions. I mean, I don't want to do a course and just leave it there. I want people to interact and be like a supportive, right? Like, okay, everybody, let's get our photos printed.
Awesome. Okay, looking forward to it, Patricia. And thank you for sharing these great tips today. Looking forward for next week. If you guys are looking at this live or you're looking at the replay, remember to register for her next class, same time next Friday at 4 p.m. Okay?
Yes.
5 p.m.
If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer.
Yes.
My Instagram is
right here.
Yeah, well, you put it right here. You can send me a message. My Instagram is Patricia Pulido Photo, PHOTO. So I'm happy to help. Any questions that I can cover in the next weeks, I'm glad. So, but next week we'll have more tips. We'll dive into other tips on your phone.
Okay. Thank you so much,
Thank you,
Patricia.
Lisa.
And
Happy
see you guys
Friday.
next week. Bye bye.
See you. Bye.